Like I told you that when I realized that the fabric scrap was going into the landfill, and there is a term in marketing called somatic markers, which you'll never forget. Something happens to you in your life and you'll never forget it. So this was one of those moments in 2015 in June when I had just gone to my tailor. I have a tailor in Sharjah and I've known him for more than 20 plus years. And that particular day I'd gone with my sister and we just went into the shop and then I see this guy carrying two bags of something, like black garbage bags and stepping out. And I'm like, what is this? And, it's fabric. And I said, so what are you doing to it? He's like, I'm just going to throw it outside in the dump.
Oh
And
my
I said,
God.
why are
Okay.
you throwing it? And he's like, yeah, what do you want me to do? You want? And I'm like, I actually took a physical step back. So we had all these very small scraps which we didn't know what to do. And I tried making bag with them, but it was a very tedious process.
Yeah.
Then I see a headline which says 500,000 construction workers will start taking their midday break
Mhm.
from June 15th to September 15th.
Yeah.
Then I thought, okay, this is it. So we started making pillows 8 inches by 11 inches
Uh-huh.
and we started filling it with very small scrap. The idea was it should not be more than 400 or 500 grams so that even if it is to be washed, it can, they can wash it and reuse because the inside has to dry.
Right.
Now, many people said, will you put a cover to it? Won't it become dirty? And I've seen construction workers actually, some of them use it directly because normally they use a brick or a tiffin box for their headrest.
Okay.
I have seen some of them use the pillow on top of the brick. I've seen some of them put the pillow into a plastic cover and then keep on top of a brick or a cardboard or a hardboard or something.
Uh-huh.
So from our side, it was just something which could help ease.
Hi, Dr. Shambhavi. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for calling me. And it's such a pleasure to catch you again in another session.
Same here. I know it's a
Thanks so
pleasure.
much.
Looking forward to discuss all about your wonderful initiatives.
It's all teamwork. I have to say this. I don't know about what others do or they don't do, but for me, it's my buddies.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Dr. Shambhavi, you are an all-rounder. You are a teacher, consultant, entrepreneur. So, to start with, I would like to know a bit about each of these roles.
So I've been teaching. I became an academician, and now we are not allowed to actually use a word as teacher. We are only facilitators. Thanks to Google, who needs teachers, and thanks to Chat GPT, nobody needs anyone now. No, I don't think that is really right. I
Yes.
believe that there will always be people because I'm an academician and I have enjoyed the process last 15 years of being an academician, teaching marketing, management, and in marketing various subjects like consumer behavior, international marketing. And I mean, the minute you say marketing, I'm sure you can see an extra sparkle in my eyes because I feel very excited about that.
Wonderful.
And now I'm actually at present teaching as adjunct faculty in Manipal, marketing, sometimes management subjects, and entrepreneurship. And in fact, it's very strange that I started my entrepreneurship journey earlier, and now I'm reading. I'm teaching entrepreneurship, which is also a learning for me because I'm able to correlate many things. As far as the entrepreneurship part is concerned, my journey started in 2015
Mhm.
with Save, Scrap, and Sew as a social entrepreneur. I never thought that I would associate these words with it,
Mhm.
but that is what it has become. There is no money involved in it, so it is a complete social entrepreneurship in that way. There's no money transaction. Again, how my life is connected, it came from academics because when I was doing my PhD, my topic was evaluative criteria used by consumers while purchasing fruits and vegetables in open and packaged shelf. Those days, nobody was talking much about composting. Now they are. Now it's quite a rage. And
Mhm.
at that point, I realized that not only your food scrap goes into the landfill and creates so much of pollution, it's also the fabric scrap, especially from the tailors, which goes into the landfill and which cannot be retrieved. You just have to only burn it. Incineration is the only solution to that. And so I started with five buddies and said, okay, let's see if we can do something. And they trusted me. And now we are 7.5 years down the road, just spreading, creating awareness. And I'll tell you more about it. But before that, let me tell you about Sew a Gift, which is a small fabric-based business, which I and my two of my other partners, we started together. And we make fabric-based gifts for people, which are utility-based actually. So there's no fancy cloth stitching and all.
Right.
One of the
So
challenges is
is it
elderly
also
people.
from rescued scraps? Sorry to
No, that it is. It's fresh fabric.
Okay.
And what happens? Yeah, it's fresh fabric. And I'll come to that why it is not rescued fabric in a minute. For what my ethos of Save Scrap So is.
Right.
But this is from fresh scrap. We put, so most of the people now, I mean, everybody can afford everything kind of a scenario is where we live in, at least the middle class society. So
Yeah.
let's say you gift something to somebody, a tray, or the typical gift that you have, a wall hanging and something, and then unless it's personalized, people tend to give it away to some other people. So this, what happens is, if you have a personalized message which you want to share, we embroider it and put it out there, and then it becomes something where the relevance may not be to a third person who's looking at it, but the person who ordered it and the person who received it, for them it's a cherished memory for a life.
Very
Right.
nice. Very nice.
And it's called Sew a Gift. Yeah.
Sew a Gift. Yeah, exactly. So you share a lot of posts about Save Scrap and Sew. So tell me more about it. Like, what actually do you do in this project, and how do you get these team buddies, your Save Scrap and Sew buddies?
So I'll have to go back a little bit into time. And like I told you, that when I realized that the fabric scrap was going into the landfill, and this was, it was just one of those things, there is a term in marketing called somatic markers, which you'll never forget. Something happens to you in your life and you'll never forget it. So this was one of those moments in 2015, in June, when I had just gone to my tailor. I've been visiting my tailor for ages. So I knew a little bit of stitching, and also as a hobby, I used to stitch. In fact, I bought myself a high-end embroidery machine, which is what led to Sew a Gift later on, as a gift for myself, because I didn't want anything else, jewelry, techie, nothing. I just wanted a good machine which I could make personalized gifts for people, because I'd always been doing that all along. And in fact, during my PhD days, it was like, I have phonetically, in between sessions when I was not writing and not researching, I used to sit and stitch, because it was so therapeutic for me at a personal level. And I've spoken much about this in other sessions, where, how you help, because you see something tangible at the end of it, you feel very good about yourself.
Yeah.
So I have a tailor in Sharjah, and I've known him for more than 20 plus years. I've lived here for 33 plus years.
Yeah.
So I've known him for more than 20, 25 years. And that particular day, I'd gone with my sister, and we just went into the shop, and I asked him, I said, okay, can you stitch this, stitch that? And I'm always been a little bit into designing, and sometimes I think I miss my calling. And I'll tell him, use the fabric here, use it there. And then I see this guy carrying 2 bags of something, like black garbage bags, and stepping out. And I'm like, what is this? And of course, I asked him in Hindi. And I said, ye kya hai? And he's like, this is, it's fabric. And I said, so what are you doing to it? He's like, I'm just going to throw it outside in the dump.
Oh my
And I
God.
said, why are you throwing it? And he's like, yeah, what do you want me to do? You want? Because, I know him very well, right?
Yeah.
He said, you want? Aapko chahiye? And I'm like, I actually took a physical step back, Pallavi, saying, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
And but this thought remained with me, and I came back home. My brother, his wife, my sister, her kids, my kids, everybody was there at home, and I'm like, this is also going to the landfill. What is this? And I kept on harping about it, and I'm like, what? Let's do this. We have to do something. And everybody in the family is like, oh no, what are we getting into? And I realized, so one of the things which I know is that though one expects your support from your family immediately, they don't really have the time or are able to be sharing the same vision which you have.
Yeah.
So while my family is happy to support me at that particular point, they didn't know what I was trying to do. But what I did was, and that's when I say that I use the power of social media. People can hate social media all they want and say, I switch off my notification. I don't look at WhatsApp for days and it's detox. We don't have the luxury of doing it. For simple reason, we have parents, we have children staying away from us. We don't have the luxury of doing such things.
True.
So I'm like, I created a WhatsApp message and I shared it with a friend in the building. And she put it out in the group saying that there is fabric scrap. And if you will join, we can do something together.
Oh,
So it was just a random Wednesday. It was a random day. It was a Wednesday. It was September 30th. I said 10 to 12 or some random time I gave, and people, 5 or 6 people came in that day. And we had
wonderful.
about 5 kilos of scrap, which I had collected from my tailor and which I had brought and kept. And then we just started sorting it out.
Hmm.
And within those 2 sessions, so I decided that we'll keep it weekly.
Hmm.
2 sessions which we had, Pallavi, you're not going to believe, I was only ironing it, nothing else.
Oh,
People were
really?
cutting, sorting. I was only ironing it. Because if
Oh,
you look at it, sometimes, people, the tailor would just do this down and then
yeah.
dump it into the bag. And then because it's going to through. So much later, the tailor asked me, he said, you're doing so much. Because I used to share what we were doing with them.
The
And he's
scraps,
like,
yeah.
you're doing so much. What can we do? I said, when
How
you're doing
nice.
and putting it down, can you just fold it a little and just put it inside? And he's like, yes, we can do that.
How nice.
Yes. So from there we started, and then so I am always a very utility based person in the sense that, I mean, I love my luxuries, nothing wrong
Hmm.
with that, but
Hmm.
I'm like, we need to make something which everybody can use. So
Yeah.
I said, okay, we'll make sheets. And I used to be part of this crazy quilting Yahoo groups in those days, Yahoo groups
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yahoo newsletters and stuff. So I'm like, okay, we'll just put together some stuff and do it. But then I said, okay, we'll cut it in these specific sizes, which I gave the sizes and said, let's cut it like this. And so the idea is to save the scrap, right? So the
Right.
bigger pieces we get, we just retain them as big pieces only.
Okay.
We do not try to make it into smaller pieces. So there's
Yeah.
no point if I have a big, and sometimes I get a 5 meter, 3 meter fabric also. Like a
Mhm.
pant cloth could be 2 meters, which is remaining, from the
Oh,
bolt after
okay.
making a whole set of uniforms. So
Mhm.
then I'm not going to try and cut it into smaller pieces. We use it
Okay.
as it is. And then
Right.
we probably use it as a bed sheet. So the idea is that, okay, the rule is like this, that if you have 20 inches or more on one side, you
Mhm.
just clean up the fabric. If you
Okay.
have less than that, we try to see if we can do a 10 by 10. If it
Ah,
is less than that, we see if we can do a 5 by 5. And then
okay.
anything smaller than that, we just put it into a thing where we make our pillows. So now the main things which we do is sheets, bags and pillows, small
Okay.
pillows. Okay.
Mhm.
So the story for the bag, how it came about is I wasn't intending to do a bag and all, but I realized that it was taking us a very long time to assemble a sheet. And my buddies, I call them buddies from the very beginning. And it's great because everybody is equal. And I'm so glad
Yeah.
because my oldest buddy is like 83, 84 years old.
How
And the
nice.
youngest we've had at 4 or 5 who's just doing this filling thing.
Oh, so cute.
And every task is important, Pallavi, right? Everything is important. Whether you're
Yes.
cutting, you're sorting, everything is important. Because invariably, what happens, people only see what is stitched and what has come out. But
Yeah.
that is because a culmination of all the activities which took place.
Yes. Yes.
Correct?
Absolutely.
So everybody is important. Everybody is important. This is how my thing from the very beginning. And like I said, I knew it had to be teamwork. It was not possible to do it alone at all. I mean, we can't clean our clutter at home. You think we're going to do for somebody else? No
Actually.
way. And like I say these days all the time, whose earth is it anyway?
Yeah.
So,
True. I know. I know.
so then, so this is how and I said, okay, let me try and put together a bag. And which
Mhm.
is what I did. I put a bag together. One of the days when they came back, the next week when the buddies came, I showed them a bag with whatever scrap they had cut and kept. And everybody's like, okay, now I am able to see what you are seeing. But till now, we were not able to share the same vision. Then it began more like, So now this WhatsApp message, which I had shared
Mhm.
in the building group, I had shared with few other friends who shared it further up. From
Okay.
that, actually, a lady from Bardubai called me, and I said, if you are two people, I'll come and tell you how to do it. So she said, yes, we are two of us, me and my cousin, we are neighbors. So we went. My mother-in-law was with me. I said, come along, Amma, let's go. So we
Mhm.
went. Then another group of ladies who were in Karama, they had a group, and every month they would assemble, and they used to have various activities. It was like a friendly gathering, but invariably they would call somebody to talk to them. They asked me this, and this was so from September to now, it's November 2015. And they said, can you come and give us a talk about it? And if you can show us a demo, we'll be very happy to see what you're doing. I'm like, okay. So I went there, I spoke to them, I did a demo, and everybody's like, first of all, it's very difficult to believe that there is so much of scrap lying around. No, people
Yeah.
don't, unless they see it, nobody actually realizes. And I'll share some pictures with you, which,
Yeah,
you can
definitely.
kind of share in your forum, and
Yes.
you'll understand what the scrap looks like.
Uh,
So this is where slowly now, because I'm a marketing person, I set up the Facebook page the day we started our work. So 30th
okay.
November, September 2015, I set up.
Uh-huh.
So I think some things, just come to you, and some things you gain over a period of time. So as a marketing person, I always knew that consistency was important in terms of,
Mm.
so anybody, if you cut, you sorted, you went to the tailor, you picked up scrap, anything you did, I would tell people, please post it, please post it, please post it. And I remember a time, Pallavi, asking people that I know it's weekend and everybody is busy with their families, but find some time for the earth, these kind of posts.
Yeah, yeah.
Till it turned around and people started saying that, no, I'm busy, I'm stitching over the weekend. They would take material
How
home, they would
nice.
cut it, they would stitch it. And then I'm like, okay, people, this is going to be there. There will never be a zero scrap day, but please find some time for your family also.
That's so wonderful and so inspiring.
And now, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you much opportunity to talk, but it's always lovely revisiting my journey. And I feel so happy that I met
No,
so
not
many
at all. I
friends, so
want to
many
hear.
buddies, so many families. You'll not believe, I've had people call. And recently, that lady connected with me again. She calls me and says, Shambhavi, I want to join with your group, but not now, after 3, 4 months. I said, okay, anytime you're welcome. She's like, no, my mother has told me to join your group. I said, okay. And she's like, no, my son is going to Germany to study and he's an only child. And my mother thinks that I should not have any depression and emptiness syndrome. So your cause is the best, which I can
How
associate with.
nice. See, I mean, yeah, actually, so
So,
meaningful and
so
diverse.
we were healing. Exactly. So we were healing people we didn't even know about and doing it. People who were grieving, people who had challenges, senior citizens who used to come here to stay with their families, they would join us, and they would feel. See, everybody wants to feel a little needed.
And I think service gives you that feeling of, satisfaction or, I don't know, peace when you're serving others.
And there was no money involved in it. So our bags don't have any elastic. There is no button. There is no zip. What we get, we stitch that. That's all.
Okay.
And so this is what we continued. So then 2016, I'll talk about the teen buddies in just a minute, but
Yeah.
in the meantime, 2016 summer, and I'm looking at, so we had all these very small scraps which we didn't know what to do, and I tried making bag with them, but it was a very tedious process.
Yeah.
Then I see a headline which says 500,000 construction workers will start taking their midday break
Mhm.
from June 15th to September 15th.
Yeah, because of
Oh,
the
okay, yes.
summers.
Then I thought, okay, this is it. So we started making pillows 8 inches by 11 inches,
Uh-huh.
and we started filling it with very small scrap. The idea was it should not be more than 400 or 500 grams, so that even if it is to be washed, it can, they can wash it and reuse because the inside has to dry.
Right.
Now, many people said, will you put a cover to it? Won't it become dirty? And I've seen construction workers actually, some of them use it directly because normally they use a brick or a tiffin box for their headrest.
Okay.
I have seen some of them use the pillow on top of the brick. I've seen some of them put the pillow into a plastic cover and then keep on top of a brick or a cardboard or a hardboard or something.
Uh-huh.
So from our side, it was just something which could help ease,
That
you
is
know,
so mindful of you. Like,
uh,
but
but
from,
I should say, this came
yeah.
from a project which I did for breast cancer awareness, where, they make pillows, these for ladies who've had mastectomy, they make these pillows.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, they said one thing, it's not just about the pillow that it's keeping your arm away from the region where you've had surgery. It's also about an emotional attachment with you. So I thought that somewhere maybe this pillow is this what it's going to do. So when I started the first, and I called these support pillows, and they were long, very little longer than this,
Mm.
before the construction worker thing happened. And I wrote a very emotional post saying, I don't know, is it going to be with some child or is it going to be a solace for some old lady? And
Yeah.
with emotion, with true emotion, because I really don't know where it's going. So it was not that it was just a copy, but yes, you have to write things which are interesting for people to read. Otherwise, nobody has a time attention span. I say 5 words in 5 seconds is what people have nowadays.
Yeah.
Those days, it was a little better. So I wrote this post, a long post, And believe you me, one of our buddies from here, she was going to Mumbai. And because these pillows were just lying, we didn't know what to do. So she took some of these with her and
Mhm.
she went to Mumbai to a place where they help night street children come and sleep in the night there in
Okay.
that house, in that,
Mm.
like, I mean, kind of an institution.
Yeah, yeah.
And that place was called Support.
Uh-huh.
So it was so like strange because I called it support pillows, and the first people who
Ah,
receive it
okay.
are, it's an institution called Support.
Okay.
So I
Wonderful.
think there was something beyond us which was,
Yes. Yes.
guiding us. Some forces, may the force be with you.
Yeah.
It is true for us.
Yeah. Wonderful. That's so
And then still, if you think about it, Pallavi, there are like 5,500 pillows or 700 pillows is roughly what we have done till now. But
wow.
the construction workers are still 500,000. So
My goodness, wonderful. That's such amazing service you're doing and involving so many people along with you. That's wonderful.
thank you. Thank you so much. So it's my buddies. And before I forget, my teen buddy story. So
Yeah.
one of our friends' children, son, he was doing Duke of Edinburgh from modern high school here. And
Mm.
he had to do a community program, which was for like supposed to be for 13 hours.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be a sustainable program. So like a beach cleanup for 8 hours in a day is not counted. You have to be doing it a week over week, and you have to develop, like, what kind of a quality do you develop while doing this, and what type of skills do you develop, kind of a thing it was basically.
Okay.
So this friend of mine, my buddy, she asked me, my friend, this is what they need, do you think you can help? I said yes, why not? And that is when we broke gender stereotypes, because it was a male, and it
Yeah.
was
Yeah, I
and it was a
know.
teenager.
Yeah.
And we said come along. And he had a whole group of people who came. So at that point, I think there must have been about 14, 15 kids who were coming twice, like 2 times a week. I used to do this for them. So there was no
Mm.
money involved. Like I said, there was no money
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
All they needed to do was bring a pair of scissors and
Mm.
some scale and some marker and something which was for themselves. The scrap,
Mm.
of course, was available. So,
Mm.
being the academician that I am, I developed it into a program
Oh.
whereby they came, they did introduction. I gave them an introduction.
Uh-huh.
Slowly, when new buddies came in, they gave the introduction to them.
Okay.
And then they would go to the tailor. They would show the tailor what we'd been doing. They would ask them for the scrap. Then they would come back. They would sort it, cut it. There was teamwork. They're supposed to help each other. They would make mistakes, but we're like, never mind if you make mistakes, because it is scrap. We can always do something else with it. Right? So there was no threat on them as such that, oh, it'll get spoiled.
Yeah,
They
true.
learned team leadership, and because you'll automatically see one of the boys or one of the girls become a team admin, and quickly they will put together. So like this, I've kind of supported more than 100 students from various schools. I think at least 16, 18 schools I have supported where they came. So the Teen Buddies program, I was a little possessive about it because I didn't want to really hand it over to anyone. And then considering that the Duke of Edinburgh actually sends me a mail asking me about the child. And so I give what qualities the child exhibited during this. One of the things which I made compulsory for them was to come with their parent in the sixth or the seventh session. So we do 7 sessions,
Uh-huh.
and the sixth or the seventh session, and share their journey. And
Okay.
sometimes the parent will tell how they have seen their child evolve
Wonderful.
during this. Yeah, and this would take about 2.5, 3 months roughly. It's not like you're just doing 7 weeks and it's over.
Right,
So the
right.
time commitment, I'm very strict about time. If this time you have to be here, because everybody comes in together, everybody leaves
Yeah.
together. Only then they can clean up together, take out all the fabric, take out the material, do the. So all of that is their responsibility, and they used to do amazingly well. And before COVID, like we were doing very well. Now also, I do have some of them who come. During
Yeah.
COVID, also we did online. Like, I mean, I used to guide them online, and they would do from their homes. And
Wow.
I forgot to say, they all learned how to stitch.
I know, that's wonderful. I mean, that's the biggest gender stereotype you've broken. Like, because I remember growing up, we in our school we had separate ECAs, so only girls were allowed to learn stitching. Boys were not given that task.
It's so strange considering that most tailors are actually
Our
men,
men, yeah,
and
absolutely,
most designers are
our
men. Like,
men. I know.
so that's how the Teen Buddies came about, and that's kind of, I think, is long and short of what we are, and we continue to do the same things. There's nothing new. The scraps are same. Yes, we do not take scraps from personal people, because then we'll
Okay.
just become a dump yard. People will just
Yeah,
dump
yeah,
it on us and go.
yeah. Right,
So
right.
we take scrap only from tailors,
Okay.
And sometimes these fashion boutiques, they are throwing away very expensive lace,
I know, yeah.
and they are throwing away, what do you call, material, fabric, sheer, and so many things. Even curtain makers and upholstery makers, they also throw away a lot of fabric as
They just
sample
throw it
books.
away, is it? Oh,
Let's not go there.
that's a sad fact.
See,
Like,
because always what happens is there's no time to do these things. And that is when
yeah.
I say that the person who's the owner of
Mm.
place has to be more
Eco-conscious about.
mindful that if we are making the profit, we need to, instead of paying somebody some charity donation, money, cash, or paying somebody food, you make something with this and give. And I'm ready to help people to understand how to do this. And I've
Yes.
got a YouTube channel which tells you how to do this. And do
Yes.
sheets. People always need sheets,
Yes,
and you can
absolutely.
use the sheets. And my thing was always that the sheet would, one adult should be able to cover themselves.
Yes.
That's all. So there's no specification or anything that you have to make it this size or that size. See, the more control you put over people, that much more difficult it becomes for them, and they start stepping back, which is
Mm.
why I don't get into stitching clothes. First of all, you need all these embellishments to make a proper dress. Second, we don't know who to give it to. And the
Correct.
third is, let us say a person who doesn't know stitching at all is looking at our Facebook page or our website or anything, and is saying, okay, can I do this? Should I think about it? And that time, if there is some complicated looking frock out there, or, some shirt out there with some collars and stuff, which somebody has been very creative and loved doing, that can act as a threat.
Yeah.
So I want people to say that, yes, I can do this.
Yes, absolutely. So wonderful. You just turned your passion into such an amazing
I never thought it would come till here, or today we're going to have this conversation. I never thought. I'm very grateful to God. I'm very grateful to the country, which gave us this opportunity, because I thought that this is a problem in the Middle East because the tailors don't have their families
Mm.
here.
Yeah.
But in every country, this is a problem. And I have, wherever I go after this, I always go and ask the people, what do you do? What do you do? Even if it's alterations, they throw small pieces away.
Right.
It does go waste. So I
Um,
tell people now, look at YouTube, look at stuff, use decorative, use for dusting, cleaning, mopping, something. Don't just put it out.
yes,
Before you do,
absolutely.
just think, can I do something? So today,
Exactly.
in fact, I was in a networking event, and one of the ladies who's a fashion boutique, and she makes amazing wedding dresses. And she's like, Shambhavi, I follow what you say. I try to tell people, take it back, make something out of it. And they're like, no, 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 we don't want, and you do whatever you want with it. And when she said this to me, immediately it struck me that just last week there was Fashion Revolution Week, and many of the universities which offer fashion designing were looking at sustainable fabric, sustainable designing and stuff. So I said, why don't you message them and ask them if they will do? Because the students need different types of fabric to learn how to work with it and
Right.
how to
Right.
understand it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then when you're doing it with scrap, they also feel comfortable that they're not wasting money
Yes.
and doing, some kind of a utility. And it's like how you keep saying circular economy. So this is like
Yeah.
circular. You're coming back, bringing it back into the system of learning itself. And she
Yes.
said, yes, I'll do it. And so I'll be giving her some connects who I know. And, fashion courses are very expensive and very,
Yes.
I
Mm.
mean, very sought after also. So why
True.
not to use in that way? This is idea new, so which I hope to propagate now through this. And there's always something new to talk about.
Yeah, and that's a fantastic idea, absolutely. Because, anyways, they are practicing. So it is not, they don't need virgin new clothes again, right?
Yes.
Wonderful.
No, this is new because these are wedding dress.
Okay, yes.
These are new only.
Okay, okay.
Whatever remains from wedding dresses,
Wedding
she makes wedding
dresses.
dress. Yeah. So
Yeah,
whatever
but
remains from
anyways, it
that.
is going to end up in the
Yes.
landfill. It rather get used. Wonderful, very nice. So you always you have the statement, "Whose earth is it anyway?" Right? I'm an ardent follower of your LinkedIn posts and
Thank you. And the other
articles.
one is efficiency is more important than perfection. So I
Oh,
have my buddies trying to put this fabric together, that
yes.
one matching. I'm like, just get it out. Just give it to somebody who needs it.
Wonderful. So, like, I have also subscribed to your LinkedIn newsletter, The Inner
Oh,
Eye.
thank you.
And you usually post about, the problems in the environment and also about sustainability. So, I would like to know what, according to you, is sustainability and how can we really live a sustainable lifestyle?
I've said this before and I will say this again. When we say sustainability, is it really sustainable? So when we were small, remember we used to have like our way of celebration is clothes, fabric, right?
Right, right.
So when we are small, and I remember somebody telling me in a session that the first thing which touches a child, a newborn baby, is a fabric.
Yes.
So and the last thing also.
Yeah, true,
So
very true. I know.
yeah, so the last thing is also that it's a fabric which is touching you. So it's such an important thing. So
Mm.
when we were small, you remember we used to have we would have new dresses for birthday,
For
or
but
we would
yeah,
have new dresses exactly, and you would have new dresses for what do you
festivals.
for any more yeah. So mostly birthday and some festival, some this kind. But
Yeah.
it was like, and then also you passed on your old clothes to other people. So I'm
Yes.
like, there's no harm. Continue to get your thing. Just see where is it coming from. Who
Mm.
is making it? If you're paying only like this is one of my friends who said, if you're paying only 5 dirhams for a t-shirt, who is actually bearing the cost of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I know.
And she also, her name is Vino Supraja, by the way, and you can follow her and you will love
Yeah,
it.
I
The
have
things
heard
that she
about
does.
yeah.
Yeah. And she's in fact recently published a book also. And she was here as a judge for the Fashion Revolution Week. And they did an amazing, with Vanmati Jagan, they did an amazing improve, about
Uh-huh.
the earth. And it was beautiful. I have to tell you, it was beautiful.
Wow. Okay.
And this is what she says. So one thing which she always said is that, if you're seeing that it's only 5 dirhams, why is it only that? Second
Mm.
thing she said, when you go to these shops, which are big retailers,
Yeah.
ask where is your sustainable line? The
Mm.
more number of people who keep asking for it, they will then create a market.
Yes.
Because there's a market, there's a demand, people are asking them, then you will get it.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
then that will bring the price also down because now
Exactly.
sustainable. So main thing is how sustainable is sustainable. We can't say that we will live without plastic packets entirely. No, sometimes you need plastic for protecting
Yeah.
certain things, whether it is documents, whether it is some things you
Yes.
need.
Yes.
So let us be mindful of it. So let us
Mm.
reuse it. Let us repurpose it. We can
Right.
we can look at a lot of re's and reviewing life. But
Mm.
saying that I'm going to from now on be like this, it's not something which is possible at all.
Exactly. True.
So, yeah, so then separating your, wet and dry, putting it out there, composting, these are things which one can do. What is in your control? You do that. So now when I go to the supermarkets, I don't take plastic bags from them. And this guy, in fact, from the supermarket, I put in my newsletter also say, he's like, oh, you're the lady who won't take, who won't take plastic bag. They know it's free. I said, never mind if it's free. I don't want it. And so, that with that, if you purposely, then at least you feel okay, I saved one. I
Yeah.
another taking tissues. I always see people just grabbing 3 5 in school. The child will be learning about environment friendliness and this and that, and then in the in the mall in a toilet, you'll see full going on.
Actually,
So
yeah.
I'm like, well, take one.
I know.
Have to take one. Take what
Yeah.
is required. Don't take more than just because
More
it's
than what
available
is
and it's
yeah.
free. Because
Yeah.
that is what is going to affect everybody else. Everybody's that one extra is what is affecting everyone else.
Exactly.
Water, we are mindful. I'm very mindful of water. And I think I'd mentioned in the newsletter also,
Yeah,
we
in one
never
of
throw
your
water away.
articles. Yeah.
Yeah, we never throw water away from our glasses. In fact, everybody in my house has strict instructions. Please pour only that much as you can drink. And
Yes.
even in the restaurants, we tell them it's not about free or not. It's just pour what I want. That's all.
Mm.
People walk, how many kilometers people walk to go and get some water in so many places. And now we know by 2050, we don't know what the water condition is going to be even in the MENA region. So,
Yeah.
what are you, which world are you living in? And then every drop saved is will be helpful for everyone else.
Exactly. Very true. So I think you've partly answered my the question I was going to ask. What all eco-conscious activities have you adopted, like in your lifestyle?
So this is generally what I said, electricity. We switch off lights as much as possible. We keep our ACs on 24, 25 degrees.
Mm.
And we try to do that. And the number of washes that we do, fabric wash that we do, we try to keep it, balanced. Not you're just putting in your washing machine, you're not putting too much of it. When we buy equipment, we try to see if it is friendly,
Mm.
eco-friendly, because now you have these star ratings on that
Yes.
also. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we try to do that. But again, as a person who's out there, I don't shout out about all these things, Pallavi, because I don't want, again, like being a marketing person, I don't want people to think that I'm doing this and that and that, and what am I doing actually? So I keep my core competency to save, scrap, and sew,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
know how to do, which
Right.
I can tell people. I can get up from my sleep and tell people how to do it,
Yeah, yeah.
and that is it. But
That's right.
apart from that, what else I do is, like I said, all these things which, small things which hopefully will become
Yeah,
will
exactly.
contribute in some way.
I know, definitely. Yeah. So even you compost.
Yes.
Wonderful. Very nice.
In fact, today I've posted on Facebook and Insta that from our compost we've had white pumpkins, because
Oh,
I never put white pumpkin seeds anywhere. And
ah,
suddenly I'm finding white pumpkins in my
wow.
house, and because it was in the compost.
That's interesting. I've
Yes,
heard many stories like this, like
yes.
friends who compost and they have a backyard and garden. They're like, it just surprises different.
So this is in a pot. It's
Oh,
not.
it's in
It's
a
come out
pot.
from a pot, and it
Wow.
just went up. And this is from a pot. It's not even in, like, from the mud or sand or anything.
Oh,
But then in the pot we put compost, right, for the
right,
plants,
right.
other plants to
Yes.
grow. So it's come
Yeah.
up with a curry leaves one. This has
Oh,
also come up.
wonderful. So I feel very inspired when I see your work around inclusion. You have many talks and you involve many guests who are working on inclusion. Can you tell me more about your work on this and your Mensa talks, right? What is it called?
Yes. So I found Mensa about 18, 20 months back. Okay. Mensa is only 2 years, will be too soon. So
Hmm.
I found Mensa. Somebody just told me that there is an app like this, and you can. So before that, I had tried Clubhouse, but it wasn't for me. And it was also not very comfortable. There was some huge challenges and stuff. So I didn't get on there. But Mensa, what interested me was that it was a 20-minute conversation, and you could join anybody's circle and talk, and then the conversation would get over in 20 minutes. So at one point I started my own channels in August 2021. I started my own channel, and it was a circle. Actually, it was just called Ace with Passion, Shambhavi Spectrum, which is what is my tagline everywhere.
Yeah.
Then slowly, as that year, so I used to talk about everything, about marketing, and about movies and anything and everything. And Mensa is a platform where you can do anything, you can talk about anything, very
Hmm.
safe space. And you always have people supporting you, disagreeing. It can be either ways. So
Hmm.
from then, it's an Indian startup. And then what happened is, that year end, it was around my birthday time or so, and I said, okay, so what am I looking at, a new word for the coming year? And I said, let's talk about inclusion. So
Hmm.
in the coming year, in January, when I started in 2022, I said, okay, let me talk about various inclusion. I must have spoken for about 2, 3 weeks by myself, and anyone random can join your conversation. Then I realized that this was not going to go in a long run, because
Hmm.
there's only so much which I have knowledge of.
Right.
So what I did was I invited my friends who were in my periphery, whether they were my Facebook friends or whether they were my other friends from other places, long-term school friends, networking, anybody who was working in that area. I started inviting them for having a conversation, including people on LinkedIn who I had never met.
Hmm.
And I said this, and the thing was, what are I and you as in you, doing
Yeah.
about inclusion?
Right.
And the pivotal question always was, what can we do as an individual, as a society, as a community and a society, to create that small change, change in behavior, which can have an impact.
Hmm.
And you'll be very surprised to know, Pallavi, that I think at least I've hosted more than 52 people. I think at least 35 people must have told me that just treat us like normal people. We are just normal.
Hmm. Very true.
So I've had guests who were quadriplegic cerebral palsy, and Olympic Paralympic winner Emma Sheardown from London. I
Hmm.
had a person, Dr. Sonal Khapse, who runs a restaurant in uh, Pune, which is managed by audio challenged and Down syndrome people at the front end.
I think I've seen
So
that.
terracene, it's called terracene.
Mm.
Then there's I had conversation with a couple where the husband is partially like his he cannot see, but his wife is a regular person and she can see, and she says sometimes I think he's just lying and he can see. And he is into design, by the way. He's into design and stuff, and he's like,
Wow.
and
Mm.
obviously the question is, how do you do it? He's into retail designing, fit
Okay.
outs and stuff, and like, how do you do it? And so this then one I had a person called Dr. She's a person who runs she's 25 years Jagrati, she's the person who runs Jagrati school. So she
Mm.
had just put up that, our 10th boarders, everybody's passed. It's for visually challenged, and she herself was visually challenged. So
Okay.
our 10th boarders, everybody has passed this time. And I just sent her a message. I said, would you like to come and share about your victory and tell us what?
Mm.
So slowly this kind of built up. And I've had very, very interesting conversations with people who were running HIV positive cafeterias, or people who are doing, like there's this guy, Kiran Verma, who's walking 21,000 kilometers for blood, walking for blood. So
Mm.
my inclusion was not specially for any physical, mental, or anything. It's just been inclusive of everybody, including
Mm.
Divyang cricket. And I've had athlete who's a basketball player, and I've just tried to, anyone who says inclusion, I have asked them to come and talk to us. And I think I have myself become more aware of these things, that how small things make a difference to
Yes,
people.
absolutely. That's so inspiring. I mean, you are
Thank
inspiring
you. It's very
so
kind of you to say that.
much. So, talking further about inclusion, like goal number 5 from the UN Sustainability Goals is achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. So, what, according to you, from your experience, will bring social equality?
Very tough question
Tough
to
question.
ask. So there are two things about this. One is there is a whole bunch of people who keep saying women empowerment, and you're shouting for it, and in that somewhere the equality is lost.
Yes. Mm.
Equality means being given equal opportunities to do the same things, which it should not make a difference which gender you are. So whether it is like medicine or teaching, or but then when you look at it, actually there are some economic reasons also this happens, Pallavi, and I'm just thinking about it as I'm talking to you, that you
Mm.
see more women become teachers, okay,
Mm.
and less men become teachers. If you look at it,
Mm.
maybe professors at higher level, there could be almost men and women could almost be same, but in school level, definitely women.
Are
And
more.
one of the
Yes.
reasons is teachers' pay scale is very less.
Yes.
They are
Mm.
always paid very, very minimal amount. In if you look at the hierarchy rung,
Yeah, true.
there is always a lot of work which you take back home. The only reason women don't mind that is because, okay, you can go back home, be with the children, because
Yeah.
the children are in the same school, they get some fee discounts, they
Yeah.
get some benefits, okay, and then you can use the school bus. These are things which are benefits, which makes a difference. Every bit counts. And
Right.
then they can go back, and then they still have time to take care of their household chores. And that is one of the reasons that automatically, when you've been home for a little longer time, then when the husband comes in, you're like, okay, can I do this for you, can I do that for you? It's just, we just fall into those slots.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is one of the main reasons is because of the way it's not what we wanted, but it is
I
how
think
it
it's
is.
a conditioning, right? Like,
Yes. And in fact, if you look at it, in the days my father and all were in school, they
mm.
had, I think, equal number of men who were teachers, and maybe more men. Because the
Oh,
ladies those days were at home, taking care of the
yeah.
parents, taking care of the children,
Mm, yeah.
doing the work, doing the grocery shopping and all. They were taking care of all that.
I
So the
actually,
men were actually, isn't it right? I mean, if you think about your father, my dad's times, I know that they had more men teachers, because when
yeah,
daddy
yeah.
talks about this sir, that sir,
Yeah.
I think I've ever heard him mention a ma'am.
Right. I had seen the YouTube video of you conversing with your father, and I
Yes.
felt so happy to see that he empowered your mother to study and take up a job. It was wonderful. Like, he helped her, I think after marriage she studied, right? Studied and then
Yeah, she did. She did.
went
In
on
fact,
to
after I
become.
was born, she did her graduation. When I was doing my 10th, she did her post graduation. When I was in college, she did her B.Ed.
Wow.
Then, now, about 10, 12 years back, after I got married and everything, only she started working. And then she did her second MA in economics. So,
Wonderful.
and then now she's written a book on how school activities, the
Uh-huh.
medium book for in English. Then now last year she's translated it into Hindi also.
Amazing. So, so we really need men like that who
Yes.
see that, in the women and empower them to live to their full potential and not just limit you to take care of children and, do the house chores.
So this again is another conditioning. That's what I said. There are other set of women who are like, no, I'm very happy being at home.
Yeah,
I'm okay. But
right.
other people think that no, no, why are you? So not everybody is ambitious. Not everybody wants to go out
Yeah,
and make a
yeah.
name for themselves or try to prove to the world that you're equal. Not everybody is like that.
Yes,
And one of the things which my husband will say always is, when I'm treating you as equal, why would you think that you are any less?
yes, exactly.
Because then the more if I'm as a wife going to continuously keep putting myself down, then at some time he's going to say, okay, then this means that you are down only because this is what
Yeah,
you think of yourself
I
and this is
know.
what your capability is.
Right. If we need to respect ourselves, women need to respect ourselves
Yeah,
and
so that's what I'm saying. So
understand
now,
that.
as far as save scrap and so is concerned, if you look at it, who wants their house full of scrap or
Mm.
strangers walking into their house, going, you have no idea who's coming, who's going, and like, okay, so that is all support, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I
So which I have full family, everybody's support is there for me always. My children, they have never kind of said that we are here, like my son saying, okay, I'm here, I've just come, why are you spending time, or my daughter saying this. So it's always been a part that, okay, this is ma and this is how she is, and this
that's
is this is
wonderful.
exactly what people think, okay, Shambhavi, okay. And now for many years now, in fact, when I go on vacation, whichever country I go to, I carry a bag made of safe scrap, and so I carry a sheet, a pillow, so that if anybody asks me to give a demo, I'll do that.
How nice.
And I had a student once, one of the teen buddies. I was in Thailand. One of the teen buddies, can you please send us a small video because I'm presenting somewhere and they want some information from you directly. So I actually sat in a hotel room and I spoke about this. And I sent it to
Wonderful.
her.
That's so nice. Yeah. So, like the freedom of choice to live
Yes.
what the way you want to live, right? And
Yes.
rather than put it, I think it goes for men also, right? Like we
Absolutely,
stereotype so
absolutely.
much.
The kinds of pressures in being a mother to a 30-plus-year-old son, I can say that the pressures of being a man is not easy because they're automatically slotted into that they'll be the earning member. They have
Yeah.
to take care of look at finance. Most
Mm.
people are expect that the man will take care of the finance. Why the women, they can learn about it. They can
Yeah.
ask questions, and
Yeah.
asking questions will help the man think. And rather
Exactly.
than you just choose to stay away. "Nahi, everything is taken care of by him. I'm not interested." Why?
I know.
It is the benefit for the family.
Yes,
You
and
have
it
a
also
right to say
reduces
yes
the
or no
pressure.
to it. Yeah,
Yes,
it's not always necessary that the man may. Maybe you have read me, you've met some friends, you've read some article about something, and you can share that. At least then you're making a aware decision which keeps you aware that this is
Mhm.
happening in the world.
Yes, yes, true,
So
absolutely.
So the effort has to be from both the sides. And so as far as equality is concerned, I think it's just something which you pick up the cues and you grab the opportunity. So I'm not going into the corporate bit of it and things, like, okay, when ladies are, when they are declared that they are pregnant, their salaries are reduced, they are asked to leave. Those are all things which I think people are revisiting now and beginning to think, because it's not only them, because invariably when men declare that they're going to have a child, they are given a promotion. And this is from very famous reports,
Really?
okay.
I
And
didn't know that.
yes, and this I am telling you about this report, which was, I heard about it maybe in 2000, sometime before
Uh-huh.
2000, like 10, before that time,
Mhm. Uh-huh.
where it was a report which said that the men, when they inform their office that they are expecting a child, they are given a raise. But a woman, when she says that she's pregnant, invariably she is asked to
Leave
leave.
or yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
leave or maternity leave, and how soon can you come back, and
Come
things
back.
like that. So that
Yeah.
is, and the salaries are reduced after that,
Yes, absolutely.
whereas she also needs that money.
Yes,
And
exactly.
During COVID, I remember that you get maternity leave. Now paternity leave has come in.
Yeah. Mm.
I would definitely address to everybody that while you're talking about sustainability and
Yeah.
earth and mental health and everything, there is no shortcut for hard work.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you need to have those skills. If you are looking for equal, rights or everything, you need to have those kind of
Both,
skills.
both men and women,
Yeah,
both,
both men
need
and
it. Yeah.
women. Exact. What is your advice for beginners? How can, like, someone who doesn't have any clue about these problems, or is not even mindful, but they want to start? What would be your advice? How can they start living a sustainable lifestyle?
So I would say a couple of things. One is do research. You
Hmm.
have lots of devices available, so many methods available, whether it's books, whether it is news, listen to people, and then see what is best suitable for you. Don't get carried away.
Hmm. Yeah.
See what is doable, what is in your control, what you can control. And do that, do those things. Every plate you save, every glass cup you save, every time you reuse, taking your bottle, small, small things.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very small, small things. What you can.
And the last question, I'm very inquisitive to know, what is the secret of your energy and enthusiasm to pursue so many initiatives? And how do you keep yourself so energetic to do all these things with so much passion?
So, one, I think I'm a people's person. I feel happy when I talk to people, interact with them. I think some of their energy rubs off on me.
Mm.
And so I'm a person who enjoys interacting with people. That is one. The second thing is, the story about the genie, and they said if you don't give it any task, it'll start destructing the. So my soul is that of that genie who needs some work constantly. Otherwise, there'll be mayhem.
Very nice.
My ideal time spent, which I spend by myself, would be something where I'm just listening to music, very soft, soft music, and reading a book by myself. I'm very happy doing that.
Nice.
But whenever I feel a little low in terms of, oh God, why am I doing all this? Enough now. I'm going to stop Save Scrapasu, or enough of doing this, or, nobody's. That'll be the day when I'll get one message from somebody saying, can you tell me more about this? How can we help you? We've been watching the work Save Scrapasu is doing for 6 months, 1 year, more than that. And can you tell us how we can help? And now we have buddies all over, not just UAE. We have in India. I had in Kuwait. I have given online session to people in Australia. So it's
Wow.
like, it's like somebody will message me that day to say, Shambhavi, can you tell us how to do this?
Wonderful. That's
So it's just, I believe that, I didn't find a purpose in life. The purpose just found me. That's all.
wonderful. Wonderful. Such a delight talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Very
so
kind of you,
much.
Pallavi.
No, really. I mean, I am so inspired by everything you do, and I have.
As likewise, I've been following your posts and seeing all about minimalism and how about clothes and all that. I have been following. I'm not following it yet,
Yeah.
but I am following your posts.
I'm just trying my small bit. And through this, even I'm learning. It's not that, I'm
Yes.
perfect. I'm learning and just trying to share it with others.
No, I'm sure it will have an impact. It will create an impact. And I think social media has given that to us, an opportunity to share
Yeah.
our thoughts with people and create impact and learn also. Otherwise, imagine
Yes.
this same thing see, for example, what I'm doing with these sheets or bags is nothing new about it. The people, our grandmothers and all, have always been doing, making those godaris and those quilts and making with the old saris, and they've always been doing. The only difference is we give it away to somebody who needs it rather than using it for ourselves because it's tailor scrap.
Yes.
So I believe that if the fabric doesn't belong to me, I have no right to keep it. So
Yes.
that is the reason why we give it away to somebody else.
That's right. I know. And when, from an environmental point of view, it is rescuing so much of waste
Yes.
going to the landfill, which is again causing so much problem, right? That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Shambhavi. It was a pleasure talking to you. And
Thank you.
you have
Likewise.
given such amazing insights. It's going to help my audience so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Pallavi, and wishing you and everything else that you do all the very best, and look forward to more success stories from your side.
Thank you so much.